Podcast. This is lucky episode 13. We're coming to you from the Stude at 258 Studios in Scranton. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I'm Lauren Coralico, and I've been called upon to be the voice of reason.
I'm Mark Dennebaum. That's about it.
I'm Jim Reynolds. I run the controls and all the knobs here at the Stude. The more knobs, the better. I have a lot of them here, actually. Even more today.
He's very good with the knobs.
You have more knobs today than usual?
Yeah, I dug up a couple other pieces of gear from the storage room.
As you can tell, we're all 13, and we all think the word knob is hysterical.
Yes.
And we're here with local musician Tom Graham, who has a new album out, and he also did some recording right here in the Stude. So we're actually going to talk about that in a little bit and get into what it takes to put an album together. And it's cool because Jimmy worked on that album, so we'll have his perspective as well. And
I can't wait to hear it.
It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're happy to have Lauren back. We missed you last week.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm responsible for bringing the extra knobs to the studio today.
You actually did bring a couple knobs. That was your first gift to me. Remember you gave me a keyboard with knobs on it.
Yes, the MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever use it?
I do all the time.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Even when it's not plugged in.
You can check in with me every now and send me a photo. Say, hey, look, I'm using this.
I will.
Said nothing. You don't call. You don't write. They're like, wow, this piece of equipment's great. You're like, yep.
It's no, really.
Yeah, I know.
We were just using it on Friday.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. Love him and leave him.
Thanks, Tom.
Just using Tom for his knobs and then leaving them.
That's right.
So wait, real quick, going back
My
to last
samples.
week. Did you listen to last week's?
I did not yet.
All right.
I will.
I just wanted to know if you approved or disapproved.
I got distracted because I went to a CD store last week and got really excited about listening to all the CDs I bought.
The Wall.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I'm kind of embarrassed to say. So let's
now
move on
you
to what
have to
happened
say.
in
Why
this
was it-
week.
Why?
No.
Oh,
Why-
you got it. You got
Why
to
are
tell
you
us
embarrassed
now.
of your
Have to
own
say now.
personal selection of music?
So I went to the clearance bin.
So, sure.
A lot of Ace of Base.
No. Heavens.
They put Michael Bolton on the clearance rack too.
What'd you get? What'd you get from Clarence?
Well, I walked in there with the full intention of seeing if they had a DVD version of the action film Willow, starring
Oh, I have it
Warwick
on
Davis.
Blu-ray.
Do you
Yeah,
really?
I do have it on
I
Blu-ray.
need to watch that again.
It's amazing.
I love that movie.
Monaghan.
Underrated.
Totally underrated.
No,
Yeah.
It's got Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer.
true.
I'd say it's overrated. No.
Willow?
I'm a Willow fan.
Willow's good.
Willow's awesome.
Use the wand, transform me back to my normal self.
Yes. I haven't watched Willow in a very long time.
Jimmy, you look at me perplexed. You've never seen Willow?
No.
You've seen every Muppet movie, but you haven't seen Willow.
I wouldn't
I
equate
have
it with
Willow
a
at the
Muppet
house
movie.
on Blu-ray.
Okay. Before or
Marky's
after
watched it so many
Poltergeist?
times he could just rattle off all the quotes right from
Yeah.
it.
It's
and
about-
Val Kilmer would always go, peck, peck, peck.
Is it a cartoon?
No.
It's a drug movie. Cocaine.
Yeah.
It's a medieval cocaine flick.
It's like Requiem for a Dream, but with like fantasy tones to it.
It's an action movie starring an achondroplagic dwarf.
Directed by Ron Howard.
Right.
Yes.
Who is Did he play Wicket? Was he Wicket?
Yeah, he was Wicket, in
Wicket,
Return
yeah.
of the Jedi.
That's
I
right.
think Ron Howard is the nicest director in the world, if I had to guess.
I think he played a couple of the other minor characters as well
Did he?
in Return of the Jedi.
No, he was just Wicket.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
He was Wicket. He played
I can't see Ron Howard being wicked.
Wicket. Wicket was the name of the Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
He was the one who was like "Ooh-da-da-doo-da-da-doo-da." That one.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I have
Yep,
to
yep.
watch that sometime.
Yep.
So he played that. His Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He played
no.
the robot.
Yes.
He was in Harry Potter.
Yes,
He was in the Ricky Gervais produced show.
Extras.
Right.
Thanks for emptying your trash right now, Jim. No, he was in Extras, but then there was Life is Short. He was on that.
Idiot
Let's
abroad.
not forget Leprechaun.
He was. I'm the leprechaun. He was the
Really?
leprechaun. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston's first film. Yeah.
In like all of the Leprechaun movies too.
He
like
was even in Leprechaun Went to the Hood.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Back to the Hood.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. They sequeled the sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What's that called when you sequel a sequel?
Back to the Hood. It was Leprechaun in the Hood, and then it was Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Mhm.
You know, That eternal classic, Back to the Hood.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the website?
Perfect lead-in, Marky. Perfect lead-in.
We did talk about
Marxian.
the last week's episode. We just put up today some recording sessions that we did with our guests last week.
Sorry about that.
Dan Rossler and Ed Kuzo were on here, and they both did some original acoustic songs for us, and they also did a Weezer cover as well, which was pretty cool. So you can watch the videos now, and you can download the MP3s from us. You can get them on iTunes. You can get them on SoundCloud.
Yep.
But they're all on NEPAscene.com. So
What time was I Facebook messaging you last night?
Oh, it was after 2. It was maybe close to 3 in the morning.
It was 3
I think.
o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get them finally done until 6 a.m.
Well, the work shows though. They have this really cool intro with our logo that makes us look really
such
cool.
An ass.
No, it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I thought so
It's
too.
mind blowing watching you you can make your own series of yourself creating things like that and put it online.
Yeah, but 90% of it is how not to do it.
But still,
It's like, oh, that failed.
well, you can show people what not to do then. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
why it
still,
took
but
me
it's still fun
forever.
to watch.
Well, no, like I did the first one, and the first one exported in like 15 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot to turn on all these buttons,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it took
Knobs.
65
I was
minutes.
just gonna say that, but I
We have buttons in the EDL world.
Oh,
No, I have knobs in the DAW world.
Yeah, you have knobs. I have buttons. I work with buttons and toggles and clickies.
I think that's why we're having such a hard time making my transition from the DAW audio side to movie side.
the film
now.
side.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
That I've shoehorned you.
I'm
into.
trying
trying
to
to turn the
twist
buttons,
everything and just-
twisting buttons
yeah,
that need to be
they don't
pushed.
twist. They just freeze, and then you get that little pinwheel.
of death.
Yeah.
All right, those came out.
Those came out.
Yeah.
The Scranton Fringe Festival is accepting applications now for their festival in October. They also have a fundraiser coming up next week, so you can check out the details
that
for
at?
that. The fundraiser is at Posh.
Okay.
It's $15 to get in, and
Wonderful establishment.
yeah, and you can get appetizers and beer and wine, and there's also entertainment as well.
Cool.
And let's see. Oh, we also brought back Infinite Improbability is finally back.
I liked it. I read it.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm usually not a reader.
Yeah. It's a little long, but I think it does the job.
No, I totally read it because it was about the Ghostbusters reboot, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Infinite Improbability is a column I've been writing since 2010 in various print publications. And eventually I wanted to bring it back on NEPA Scene, and it took me a little while because I got busy with other things. But now it's back.
And Kristen Wiig is the one, and Paul Feig,
yeah.
are the ones that finally put the fire.
I guess. Yeah. I guess I was that angry about Ghostbusters 3 actually happening now. That I decided I had to rant about it a little bit, but it's not just the thing that we do with Infinite is it's more of kind of a more headier take on the pop culture or geek culture things that you see popping up in the news and stuff like that. We try to wait a little while till maybe the hysteria and the immediate knee-jerk reaction has died down, and then talk about it in a reasonable way and say, all right, here's like really the focus of it is the fact that in this particular case. A lot of people are focused so much on the all-female cast thing with Ghostbusters 3 that they fail to really pay attention to the fact that it's probably not going to work because one of the main guys is dead and everyone else wants absolutely nothing to do with this project. And it took them how many years to figure that out? I mean, Bill Murray knew right away, but the other guys, it took them a few decades to catch up to the point where they're like, yeah, this is not a good idea. Let's stop working on this. And I just feel like at this point, especially with the way Hollywood runs now, where every scene has to be monetized into something, I feel like everything is just going to be broken down to the point where, how can we sell a T-shirt out of this, a hat out of that, a doll out of that. And with this being a full reboot, they're going to obviously just rehash a lot of the same scenes that we're expecting, just with a different cast.
Can I borrow your paper? I have to write down Ghostbusters mayonnaise. I'm going to market that.
Yeah, well, they already do have marshmallows and other things.
It's
so
it's room temperature, Jim.
Although I really wish they'd bring back Ecto Cooler. Yeah,
it was
Stuff,
delicious.
yeah.
to be honest, if they bring back Ecto Cooler, I'll totally forgive. I'll totally forgive Ghostbusters 3.
See, now that we're in like we're in the realm of like geekdom that I understand. I don't like the fact where they're like, it's the the Mel Brooks always had that joke with Spaceballs where he's like, we'll make Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. He's actually thinking about doing it now,
Right.
which to me is kind of like, all right, he's in on his own joke and he knows what he's doing, and not only that, the title speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I would give Mel Brooks my money.
Yeah, I would love to see a sequel to Spaceballs. But the thing is like when they do stuff like what they're doing with with Ghostbusters, and then what they're doing with Fantastic Four, it's like, oh, okay, it to me it's comparable to making reinvent Star Trek by making Kirk a Klingon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or like the Batman is from Venezuela. You know what I mean? Like these are like the unique things that they think are going to be like, oh, we can get 40 million opening box office and do that.
I don't know. I might watch Red Sun if it happened.
I don't know what that is, but
technically they already remade. They already did Spaceballs 2. It was
the cartoon.
Yeah, no, it was the prequels. George Lucas made them.
Oh, Jesus!
Did he really?
No, it's a nerd joke. That's how bad the prequels are. They don't even hold up to Spaceballs. Like that's how bad the prequels.
Honestly, I would accept Spaceballs as canon over the prequels.
Oh, absolutely.
Rick Moranis is phenomenal in that movie.
He
I wish he
quit-
didn't retire
Me too.
because I think he retired after
Mel Brooks
Honey,
is
I
trying
Blew
to
Up the Kid or something.
No, I think it was Little Giants that did him in. Mel Brooks is trying to talk him out of retirement. But me saying like we had fantastic like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like we're like 5 years away from the last Spider-Man movie, and they already did 2 more, and they rebooted it, and they weren't that good. And then they're like, how many villains can we throw in? That being said, at the same time, it's nothing new.
Right.
I mean, Superman, and then there was Supergirl, and then there was Batman, and then there was isn't there a female version of Batman?
Oh yeah,
Kinda like a sidekicky.
There's a Batwoman, there's a
Nightwing or-
Batgirl, there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's really surprising.
There is a female Robin as well.
Yeah. So I wish them luck. I'm just starting to hate the fact that Melissa McCarthy's getting typecast as being the foul-mouthed.
Well, and like I mentioned too, I'm not necessarily against her as an actress because I thought she
Basically,
did
it's bridesmaids with proton packs.
Yeah,
Which is really like disappointing.
It is very disappointing because they're not the same thing at all. And the thing that I really wanted to get at in the article was just that the whole thing was kind of this weird, quirky fluke to begin with.
Bridesmaids.
No,
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters, the
Oh my
making of
God,
it in
yeah.
itself, because it changed so much from the initial script to what you see in the final film.
Right.
So many times, whether it was Jim Belushi dying, John Candy wanted nothing to do with it. There was initially they were supposed to be time travelers. They totally.
John Belushi died. Jim Belushi.
John Belushi died.
Jim
yes.
Belushi is
That's right.
very alive and well.
I heard he's an awful person.
Jim Belushi, he's alive, but I don't know if he's done anything that I'd want to see. But
No, I heard he's the
Curly Sue.
I think Dan Aykroyd just keeps trying to squeeze as much blood from a stone as possible.
Right.
With the Blues Brothers and
and he hasn't done a great movie in a number of years, so I feel like he's not going to add anything to it at this point that would be any good.
But it's weird because I'm like, oh, they're gonna do another Ghostbusters, which would be awesome. And Bill Murray's like, I'll come back if I'm a ghost.
Right.
And then
So he's meaning he won't do whatever again. He'll have to be dead first.
No, Bill Murray will not do. Bill Murray does not do sequels.
He meant a character as a ghost, not actually.
Oh,
he's going
I
to
thought you meant like
die.
a dead. I'm like,
Yeah,
over
no.
my dead
I'll
body.
do it as a paid
No.
ghost.
He will come back as a specter.
How do we get Bill Murray to show up here?
I don't think you would ever do that. I
practice.
heard he's a mean person in person.
I heard he's awesome.
My cousin saw him in an airport in Australia, and she said hi to him and wanted to just maybe get a photo or something. He completely blew her off and wanted nothing to do with her.
I find
It was
that
just
very hard to believe.
I don't know. Maybe we can get my cousin on here.
To talk about his Bill Murray experience?
I don't
Yeah,
want to
her.
hear about her Bill Murray experience. I want
Can we
him
get
to
her on
show
for
up.
4 minutes to talk about the Bill Murray?
Well, we can get her on
you're
phone.
done.
I got to figure that feature out. Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy now wants to do call-ins.
I wanted
Not
to
Phil
just-
Collins, but
Right.
Collins.
Do Phil Collins?
Susudio. Okay, so
What else is going on?
I think we've spoken
PA?
enough about Ghostbusters for now.
Yeah.
Can I throw in one fun fact about Ghostbusters though?
Yes, you can. You're
Yes,
like
you
the
can.
back of a cereal box.
All right. Mark and I were driving in the car last week, and I told him this, but the theme song to Ghostbusters, Ray Parker Jr. was sued for writing that song because it sounded too much like Huey Lewis in the News's "I Want a New Drug." So in the '80s, they were sued and they lost.
Wow, I didn't
Huey
know
Lewis
that.
lost or Ray Parker
No, Ray
lost?
Parker lost.
So he
I'm
had to
sure.
pay. He had wait.
Pay
So all the
royalties on it.
Ghostbusters money went to Huey Lewis.
I'm not saying all of it, but he probably had to pay royalties.
Jesus.
So if you get a chance, listen to those two songs side by side, and there are some similarities.
I had a friend who met Huey Lewis in an airport in Australia.
Really?
No,
He was real nice. He took a photo.
he was.
Sang cruising with Gwyneth Paltrow.
They were drinking Ecto Cooler and
Yeah.
But you know why? Because Huey Lewis believes in love.
Yeah.
He does.
He really does.
It's not even a question with him.
Somebody told me who was around in the 80s that
I feel like that's in your range.
Huey Lewis.
It would be if I wasn't under the weather today.
No, that sounded good. That sounded like a truck backing up. Do that again.
I can't. Sorry. Okay, on to the next thing.
You sound like the mom from Throw Mama from the Train. I don't know what that is. That's who you sound like. Ma Fratelli.
Anyway, that
Sounds
was
like
my
the mom
fun
from the
fact for day.
Goonies.
Try
All
to
right.
try to
It
hit
was.
that
She was the
note.
mom from the Goonies, too.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you'll be able to hit that note in like 20 minutes.
It's a little bit better.
The window just shattered.
You're a little off. I hear the wind again.
Yeah, the wind.
All right. After Paul Feig. I'm going to say that wrong for the rest of my life.
We have some photos from Hamlet at the Scranton Cultural Center.
Did you go or no?
I didn't get a chance, but our photographer said it was really good.
Cool.
And we also have photos from the Idle Kings a few weeks before at the Scranton Cultural Center as well. And we also I just threw this up quick last week, and a lot of people were talking about it just because I thought it was interesting. There's a camp bonfire that is offering a summer camp for adults in the Poconos.
That sounds dirty.
I saw a commercial for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you not like clothes but like fire?
I just happened to see something about it, and I was like, oh, that'd make a neat quick post. So I just threw up a quick blog post about it, and a lot of people were sharing it around and talking about it. So I thought it was interesting.
I'm not sure that
Do
I'm
you
the
wanna
type.
go to
I
camp?
never went to camp
Are
as
you
a
an
child,
adult?
so I'm kind of curious what the camp experience might
You
be
watch
like.
Gladiator
Well,
movies.
essentially, they offer all the kinds of things that you would get, everything from canoeing to hiking to archery, all that kind of stuff. And they have counselors there that do all that kind of thing. And then at night,
How old are
you
the
can actually
counselors?
they're
Octogenarians.
everyone is adults. They're all like 20 to 30 something.
That'd be
It's
great if
supposed
the
to be
kids-
more a little.
If the kids
Are
were
there
counselors,
Are there girl bunks and boy bunks?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean, that might be kind of fun.
It'd be cool if you flipped it and little kids got to be the counselors,
Yeah.
and then they had
Yeah.
to tell the adults what to do.
That'd be a great idea.
It's a movie script right there.
Jimmy already wrote it and saw it in his mind.
Jimmy's watching it right now.
Jimmy said,
He's looking up adult camp rates.
Well,
See, that's why, like when you were saying before that I don't always get to you, you might ask something like the best thing is just kind of wait a little while.
Yeah.
I'm usually watching things in my mind.
"Yeah,
I have a lot of films on.
I would
at once.
love to. I would love to have a seat in the theater of your mind.
I don't know how long you'd last.
I would definitely be entertained. What was that? What was that movie with
Being John Malkovich.
Wet Hot American Summer? That's all I can think about when I read
Yes.
that article.
yeah,
I was like,
Oh, I thought of
right?
sleepaway camp.
yeah. There you
that's
go.
where you went.
That's where I went.
All right.
Nice.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's
Especially the ending. It's
pretty unexpected.
Think about it. Oh, now that
Did you ever
image
watch-
is burned in my brain again.
You ever watch the whole box set?
Oh yeah, I have it.
What do you mean? There's a box. There's like because there's like Sleepaway Camp 48.
Yeah,
well, there's what 5?
5.
5, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even watch one of them. Good for me.
Ooh,
I don't feel like I'm missing out. I really don't. Sorry.
You are.
I did watch all the Twilights, so
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so so I watched the first Twilight to see what the hell it was all about. Then I watched the second Twilight because I was like, good God, can this get better? And then it didn't. And then I thought that I was already invested in it, so I had to finish out.
I have a problem now because I'm on this weird, like, discovering more music thing.
Yes, back
In
to
bargain
what you
bins.
bought in
Yeah.
the
No,
bargain bin.
that's not going to happen. But I discovered
It was
this
CNC
song.
Music
Damn it.
Factory.
I discovered this song that I really like just randomly through my internet perusings, and it turns out it was on the Twilight soundtrack, so I'm kind of embarrassed to
Was
like
it Muse?
No.
Oh.
What was it?
It's called Flightless Bird American Mouth. It's a nice song.
That was the second choice for Tom's album.
Flightless bird.
Bird American Mouth.
All right.
Yes.
It's like
Say that in a British accent.
those things those magnets you buy for your refrigerator. You just took a handful of them and threw them and
Yeah, I
saw
think it
what's
came
Right.
up. It came up
What
on
are
the
we gonna
Paper
name
Chase
this?
channel. I don't know why.
An upside down what?
And you bought that? At the,
No, I did not buy that.
You didn't purchase.
No, I didn't purchase that. I did
What was in the bargain bin? Please.
no.
Why?
How many
did
purchases? How many items did you buy in the bargain bin?
I bought 2.
2. Okay.
For a grand total of?
$1.50.
Okay. And you won't say what they are?
No.
We can't convince you to tell us what you bought at the bargain bin.
No. But I did buy the new.
We're not going to judge you. I'm just
No.
curious.
You say Sia. Sia.
It's Sia.
I've been
Yeah.
saying Sia for forever.
No, it's Sia.
It's Sia?
Yeah.
I bought her new album.
It's good.
It is good.
She's really talented.
I love her.
And
If you tell me what you bought, I'll tell you the craziest album I ever bought when I went out of my way to buy it.
The first album I ever bought in my life
no,
was
No,
the-
no, no, no. You gotta do the bargain bin.
Don't try to switch.
Do the
this.
bargain bin because I want to know what the one he went out of his way for is.
So what
So
else
I'm only
is going
telling
on?
you,
Lauren, you're
with
taking
PA?
one
I
for
went
the
on
team on
eBay and
this.
sniffed this one out.
Okay, if you tell us what you bought in the bargain bin, Jimmy Reynolds will sing a well-known song by whatever artist
That is that you bought.
There, that's the deal. Ready, Jimmy?
So you say what you bought, and then I want to know what album it was that he did. I mean, did you desperately seek it out?
It was more of a novelty.
I don't know what that means.
It was like
what I meant was how hard did you look for
I
it?
got a track as a free sample, and I was curious to see what else was on the album. So
Okay, Lauren, what
this
did you-
was
what
like
did you
15
buy?
years
What'd you
later.
2 Sarah McLachlan albums.
That's all right.
That's
That's
okay.
fine.
Gee,
But I
they
already-
put those on those dog commercials.
Wait, did you get the one where she's on the cover, like at the piano? It's mostly like a black cover.
Surfacing.
It's a brilliant album.
It's great. I also
love
got
it.
Fumbling Towards
Every
Ecstasy.
track is
I
amazing.
had the albums when I was younger. I just
How were you ashamed of that?
I don't know.
For $1.50.
It was for $1. It was a pretty good deal.
I paid $13
2
on
weeks ago.
purpose. Yeah,
For
on
Sarah
iTunes.
McLachlan?
Yeah, her album. That album's amazing. Plus, she introduced me to Lilith Fair, which I didn't understand until I went up there, and I'm like, "There's a lot of women kissing."
It's a fest. It's a
I went to the one where it was the very first one where it was like Sarah McLachlan.
Liz Fair?
I think she was there.
Melissa Etheridge.
Paula Cole, Jewel. They were all at Montage. It was awesome. It was great.
Paula
had a great
Cole
time.
doesn't shave her armpits.
We all know that.
I think.
I saw that in a music video of hers once. I think.
So no one told you. You just witnessed it. You're like, how is this
How
on
could I
TV?
not? It was like plastered across my television screen.
So
You know,
what was
for-
the album?
For most of human
was,
existence, they didn't.
That's
It
true.
was Shaquille O'Neal's rap CD.
No, you didn't.
Shaq Fu.
Really? Can we rock? What's up, Doc? Is that
Yeah, make him shake, make him shiver. They came with the there was a there
Wait,
a-
what was the song that
his
piqued
name
your
was Shaq
interest?
Diesel.
Shaq Diesel, yeah.
Came with Shaq Fu for Sega, and I was like, wow, this
which
is
was still considered one of the worst video games
This
ever.
was a terrible video game. This is
Yeah.
a bundled with a terrible single. What's the rest of the album like? And it was just a curiosity thing where I had to buy it. It met every expectation.
See, don't you feel so much better now, Lauren?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I wish I'd found Saul Williams in the area though. They didn't have any.
It was so bad it actually made people buy more copies of Mortal Kombat.
Hey, that's what bargain bins are for.
I grew up. Do you know what I grew up on? I grew up on like Yes and
Me
Wang
too.
Chung.
I grew up on
And
all
Boston.
classical rock.
And then my mom turned me on to Tina Turner when Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome came out.
I
don't need another hero.
Yeah, I just know she did some music with Bryan Adams. That's the only reason why I know Tina Turner.
That's awful.
What are you talking about?
She's been around forever.
Right, but it's not until Bryan
Bryan
Adams
Adams?
came along that she's like validated for me.
What did they do together?
It was a
what's
good
that song?
tune.
It Ain't Love, right?
Yes. What do you want? It ain't no love, baby.
It's only love.
It's only love.
It's only
It's
love.
only
Yeah.
love.
I love how you said
I would
it
sing
ain't
it
love. Like you were upset.
Jimmy sometimes
Like, that's how
vocalizes.
you-
And I thought it was
Like
for
your
all those
brain
years.
picked it, and then you were
Yeah.
all of a sudden disappointed that you were able to reach that.
I thought it
like,
was
"Oh,
love
it's only
until
love."
Bryan Adams told me it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Jimmy likes to vocalize his inner emotions.
When I saw Bryan Adams last year in concert
At the Kirby?
at the Kirby Acoustic, he actually did that song, and he did it without Tina Turner. And it was like he did a great job of it though. Like he reworked it so that he didn't need her, and he did it all by himself.
Just like Ike.
Bryan Adams, too, cannot harness the conference call. Hold on one second. I got Tina Turner on here. Hold on. All right, Tina.
He needs to get his hands on that hologram technology.
She's
like Tupac.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do a hologram. of someone who's
Tupac
still alive.
and who was the latest one they did?
I don't know. Biggie?
Eazy-E.
Oh, it was Easy, wasn't it?
Eazy-E?
Yeah.
During the elections, they had the guy from Will I Am
Yes.
on CNN as a hologram.
That was really cool.
It was creepy.
I don't know why. They just did.
I didn't like Will.i.am as a person. No, I don't
But they
need
had
as
him in a hologram.
Yeah, Coachella.
I prefer him as a hologram.
Yeah. I mean, if I had a choice, because I can turn him off. And who names her? Who
You can
names
walk
her?
through him.
Your name is William. Let's put periods in it and make it Will.i.am. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Coachella. Tupac was the first one they ever did that technology with, and I watched a really cool behind the scenes where Tupac was killed in '97 and Coachella started in '99, I think, or something like that. So there was no audio recording of Tupac saying Coachella. So they went through archives of Tupac's even dialogue and everything, just like interviews, and they had to find each syllable and put it together and edit it. So
That's how the new
Coachella.
CD was made, ladies and gentlemen.
Remember that? Everyone thought like Tupac can't be dead. He's
No,
still
he is
releasing
still alive
albums.
because I think he's coming out with a new album this year. He and Biggie were collaborating, I think.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison
Too
and Adolf
soon.
Hitler.
Too soon.
Jesus.
Too soon. What was that?
Hitler plays the tambourine.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Jimmy's lost his mind.
That's a pretty good name for a
'cause,
band, too.
it's like for a while after Tupac and Biggie died, it was like I think they have the most posthumous albums out of any artist ever.
The Machiavelli.
Machiavelli, yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to come
Or
back to
Machiavelli.
life. Machiavelli.
But then people are going through it, like trying to
Return of the
figure out
Machiavelli.
that's the new operating system from Apple, isn't it?
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli? Or that's
Yeah.
the old one before Yosemite?
Tupac's here.
Is it modeled off of Florentine merchants?
I don't even know what that is.
Machiavelli was like some person a long time ago that faked his death and came back to life.
A
And that's
person.
what Tupac is doing.
I don't know.
They're a family.
Machiavelli?
They were
Right, but there's one specific person that died or faked his death and came back to
Steve.
life 14 years later or something
Steve
like
Machiavelli.
From Troop.
that. I've researched the conspiracy theories surrounding Tupac.
Oh, go figure. You and conspiracy theory.
He's amazing, Jimmy.
He's
It's
living
amazing.
down in Cuba
Yeah.
with his sister.
Yeah.
Cheer food.
Where did Lauren go?
She gave up. She actually melted into the shitty
No, seriously, if
couch.
you get a chance,
Q hologram.
type in Tupac, Cuba, sister. It tells you everything there is.
No.
Yeah, that's not going to
Joe.
get back up
is,
a
he,
broad
is,
search.
is Ernest Hemingway still there too?
Yeah, he's
No.
serving the Mai Tais.
No,
Yeah.
Looking for U-boats?
he's hanging with Kurt Cobain.
Oh my God, Rich, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, we since we're on the subject of music and we have a musician in our presence, maybe we should talk to him about stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Well, first of all, I really want to talk about Tom's poncho because it's really
Yes,
really nice. It looks super warm.
Thank you. I'm cozy.
Yeah, and I'm really jealous actually.
Well,
I told you
Snuggie.
that. Maybe we walked in. I said, it looks great.
Yeah, it's cozy. Kind
That's
of looks
the
like
point.
a blanket, but I'm comfortable, and it was a gift. It was a Christmas gift, and I always
wife,
wanted
right?
one. I always wanted
It's a step up from a Snuggie, I think.
one. Yeah, I mean, you can just kind of hide in crowds.
Where do you get one of those?
This was special. special order.
I want one.
Plus, I feel like, too,
my birthday's coming in July.
it would look great if you had like a gun and you could just draw it from like underneath and stuff because nobody'd see it coming.
You do. There's a little Eastwood there.
Right. I like
There's
that.
a little man without what the man without a name. That was his spaghetti western name for like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And
Instead, for me, it's like this.
The Man with No Name trilogy, I believe it was
my call favorite.
referred to. So,
Quick draw on the water bottle.
yeah.
so you have a new album, which we have right here, which has a really cool cover. If you can see this on the camera, it's called "Underneath a Rusting Roof," and it looks more like like a DVD cover, really, which is pretty cool.
It's not the same size though, is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Okay.
Now, you started this a number of years ago.
Yes.
And then, other stuff came along and you had to kind of come back to it later. So, how did you get started with it? And then, why did it take so long to come out now?
I think maybe 8 of the songs were finished, and I had been thinking about going back into the studio to record a record, and I actually met up with Marky. Marky was telling me about this guy who was recording music, and I think that you just recorded the John Smith.
Oh, Paint My Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
He just time hopped a picture from that time period on his Facebook wall, ironically, last week.
And
Yeah.
you played me a copy of that, and I love the way that it sounded. And I think you came out to see me play, and you and I hit it off. And
Yeah.
next thing we know, we're at your parents' house.
Yeah.
Demoed a couple tracks, and then from there, we did a lot more work.
I didn't know what we were about. I didn't know what we were doing when we first met.
No, yeah, I think
Like
we
I
were
was like, am I just recording a few demos for this guy, or
Yeah.
I'm like, what, do I have any input here?
The thing
Or-
about Jimmy, like Jimmy doesn't like to ask questions. He just does.
Well, I think that it initially it was. I think we're kind of feeling each other out what we wanted to do, and then the ball kind of rolled, and these songs were developing and kind of got a life of their own. And then we both became really busy doing other things. We'd always come back to it, and that was the best thing is that I knew that Jimmy was into the project, so he wasn't on a time frame, and I wasn't on any kind of schedule whatsoever. So I think that was a major strength of the record. Was that
No time frame.
Well, there wasn't.
It really wasn't.
We have nothing
Yeah.
to worry about. Whenever we feel
and
like it.
I
There actually wasn't a time frame until
I know.
November. Yeah, I was like, well, I guess I gotta
Well-
put this out.
well, yeah, we got a date set with the mastering house, so we got to have it out.
That's right. Yeah, we had. That's right. We had a date set that we had to keep.
That was
For
pretty much what
mastering.
got it finished, I think, because we always.
Was an outside source was like, this is when I can take it. So you guys have it done. We're like, oh, you should probably get this finished.
Yeah.
But there's actually 2 or 3 tracks. There's 3 tracks on there that are from our first session, 1 take, and nothing else was done with it. And that was years ago.
Yeah, it
It's
was
the 3 acoustic
09?
songs.
2009.
No. 2000. It had to be 2011.
No.
Yeah, no, because I got sober in August of 2010.
So it might have been 2010.
Might have been late
I don't know if you were-
2010.
Summer
Early
of
You were
2000.
hitting the sauce when we started this.
Was I? Maybe I was hitting the sauce.
I think you were because
That's why you don't
I
remember.
think you were.
no, at that
I
time,
think you were.
Believe it or not, my memory gets worse the soberer.
right at that time, I just moved all my gear into my parents because my parents were living downstairs and the upstairs apartment was I pretty much had the run of the place, and I just moved all my audio gear in there. I think like early like maybe January, February of 2010. I was just getting it all running, and that was when I first met you.
Jimmy, maybe you know what? I
Because
think Tom's right.
2009
Maybe
into
I was.
2010 is when I met you when you did the video editing pieces for All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I kind of like I didn't really run into you after that for a little while.
Me or Tom?
You, and then
Until
and then no, but then
when did we finally run back into each other?
Fat Tuesday.
This is when I knew Jimmy was going to be the love of my life.
Was you're drinking
Hardware
Reynolds?
bar.
Drinking Reynolds?
Hardware bar.
Oh, my God.
Mark just got his camera and he's like, I'm gonna take a couple pictures. Here's half of the push. He gave me a CD and it says to the PU. half of the push, and it was all my photos from Fat Tuesday. But around that time, we started talking about music because he was into film. I was into music, obviously, and recording. So we started merging our interests. And then that's when Mark was like, yeah, I have a good friend, Tom, that might be interested in working with you. And that's when you first started coming over. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the first couple times we were demoing things, but I wasn't really sure what my role was. If I'm
we must have
recording
went
it.
to a gig at Jay's or something.
Your role was kind of limited because we would record something and then we'd hear like a truck go by and the horn would beep and we'd be like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's like,
and then we used to have to, we'd have to do takes. Remember, we'd have to do takes in between the air
yeah, and I'd be
conditioner?
like listening for a Colts bus driving by. Well, Tom, okay, all right. And I think
we
we're
would
good
do
now.
a take and I'd be like almost completely finished and the air conditioner unit would kick on.
Because my parents live right down the street from
kidding me.
the fire department. So like
Yeah.
if somebody was on call, you'd hear sirens, you'd hear ambulances, you'd hear trucks going by or train horns going off in the background.
And how did you not go like, what the fuck is this?
Well, no, it was great because like,
And then also, Tom, make sure you stand right here in the room because if you stand over here, the floorboard might creak while you're putting the vocal part down. It was great though. Like, I mean,
Sure.
that's recording at
and
its
then
most
two sweaty
crude.
dudes would come out of this house from being upstairs and your dad would be outside and you'd be like, what's up, guys?
Because we always had headphones on, so we'd be like,
It's like,
shouting and singing and whatever.
Yeah, so
And
we
that's how you
go
hear
and have a conversation outside and it'd be like, I think that sounded pretty good.
Other people just hearing us shouting into a mic, but not without any context around it.
That's right, yeah. Talking about like tracks and takes and your neighbors are like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then
doing
then
heroin.
eventually we started the project back up again when I moved to East Mountain.
Sure, yeah.
And I had a very small setup. It was literally my laptop, my interface, and 2 pairs of headphones and a microphone. And my landlord was she came down. Jimmy, what were you guys doing up down there?
No, do you remember what we did that day? We did all the harmonies for the first track.
Yeah, it was for
So we're like, bah,
yeah.
bah.
Yeah,
like
we
over and over again.
We were
for
like, we need
hours.
Beach Boys style harmonies here. So we were like just shouting. No, Tom, a little bit back away from the mic a little bit. Oh, you were off key. Okay, I was off key.
Tom, just I need you to shout louder and away from the microphone. Don't worry. They'll understand upstairs. And then they'll be like, Jimmy, I don't know what was going on at your place yesterday.
Jimmy, what are you doing down there?
I don't know, but that
Joe was trying
song.
to sleep upstairs. He just got home from work. No, they were great. They did. No, but it was
Do you have
like
a cat and a heater?
Yeah,
there was so like even for my life.
we owe them a
personally-
copy.
For my life personally, it took since it spanned for a little while. I mean, there's different chapters to it
Sure.
from when we started to when we concluded.
And the same thing for you.
Well, yeah, but there was also, I think the biggest thing for me was kind of learning how to interact with Jimmy. No, because you're.
I know you mean that in the nicest way possible.
Sure. I mean, we would.
but no.
it's tough. You're sharing your art with someone, and then I wanted him to contribute ideas back and forth, and there are times that things just didn't work, or times that we just scrapped stuff.
And it takes a lot to know if the other person's ego is to the side or not. Because we got to a point where like he would come up with an idea or I'd come up with an idea, and we were able to just laugh at certain things that didn't work. Nothing was ever taken personally, and we both were mutually in agreement that whatever we said to each other was for the betterment of the song.
I think I told him at one point, I said, now when I ask you to do something, I'm saying please in my mind, but to save us time, just
do it.
Just fucking turn that up, turn that down, pan that over there. And, back and forth. There's times we've spent hours on just stuff that didn't make it.
And it's just like
hilarious stuff.
my heart thought it would work, but my mind just said no.
Can we get an album of just that?
Oh, I would love it.
No,
The
I would
outtakes.
not. That will never happen.
No, but seriously, there were times when we would finish up our recording session and we would just literally be leaving with I would be leaving with a huge smile on my face because we just laughed our asses off. Like even up until when you finish the album here, I think one of the parts where like we need something in the middle of the song. What is it? And I tried to convert what we already had into an accordion part, and it just sounded like
Oh
somebody
my God.
somebody just jumped down the steps trying to ride an accordion.
But I mean, it's it's essentially it's my record. They're my songs, and he's this could work, and it's like
sometimes they will work, and
I know
sometimes
sometimes
they
it
wouldn't.
would. But I remember that you were like fighting it that night. You're like, I'm gonna get this to work. This is gonna sound amazing. And like 2.5 hours later, we we're like, fuck the accordion.
Yeah.
There's no way
accordion.
we are gonna have this on here.
Well, I mean, it's a solo album, but you have a lot of different instruments on there. I mean, there's
Sure,
a
yeah.
good mix of stuff on there.
And I think that we kind of, let's see, there was some tracks in there just bass, drums, guitar, but we really modded the sound of the bass in the guitar and a lot. We had socks over the
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Even if something was a computer generated sound, we would take it and sometimes destroy the sound just to make it sound more natural or make it work for the track.
And then we were mixing the record at Windmill Studios in Mount Cobb with Eric Ritter. He was asked us questions about one of the bass tracks, and you and I just started giggling. We were like, "Yeah, that's like a Rickenbacker sound."
That's exactly what we were going for.
What did he say?
He was like, "What is that?"
I mean, it
Jim-
sounds like a
and
bass.
then Jimmy threw out something that I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
You know
whatever
those
he said.
you know those things you use to polish your shoes, like it's just like that oily thing you run over your dress shoes before you
Shoe polish?
Not really shoe polish. It's just like a clear. It doesn't put any color. It's just like
Armor
oil.
sheen.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Armor All thing. Well, I at the time I cut one of those applicator foam pieces and jammed it in between the bass strings to get the thudded sound.
And did he like it, or was he like, this is crazy?
No, he's the sound guy, so he wants to know. He hears sounds for a living. He hears sounds differently than anyone I've ever met.
Right, same way here. If I hear something like, "What is that? How'd you get it?" It wasn't
Sure.
good or bad. It was just like, "What am I hearing here?"
Yeah, he was like, "What the hell?"
And
is
especially out of
because the track
context.
wasn't labeled. It was. I think we had like double E on there. He's like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and things
Isolate it
out
and
of
find out.
context. That's the thing. Like when you listen to a multi-track, that's why I love listening to them, because as a whole, the song sounds a certain way, but when you take instruments out of context, it sounds like that'll never work on its own, but it works perfectly with the song. And I think that's what we were going after. We weren't just going for out of the box stock sounds. We were trying to tailor our own thing to make it unique and for the song too. We spent we spent like almost a week on the intro to the one song because the organ had to fade in just right with the right overtones.
Yeah, 15.4 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. We dialed the
You
sound.
spent a week on 15.
Well, just like, we left the
About-
session, but like listening to it and coming back and working on things, just because it had to fade up at the right time, it had to have the right overtones in it, because we could have just clicked on B4 organ, let it fade up, but no, we wanted to make sure everything that you hear on there has been meticulously combed through, and it's there for a reason.
I can't believe it's done. I can't believe it's finished.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, so when's your next record coming out?" I'm like, "Nope.
Shut up.
Just let me enjoy this for a while.
Let's
It's not even
bask
out
in
yet."
this one for a while.
Yes, please.
Well, there was a good gap between your last album and this one. When the last one come out?
2007. I
Okay.
believe. Yeah. So
So it's have you played a lot of these songs out already? Do a lot of people know these songs, or
No,
is this
I-
relatively new?
probably maybe 4 I've done, maybe 4
Okay.
or 5. So I actually spent the day yesterday with a guitar player named Justin Mazer. We're playing some shows with Bill Warner on drums, and trying to learn the songs because live versions and studio, it's going to be different. So
Sure.
it's been a while, different keys and things like that.
Well, one of the things I noticed when listening to it the last couple times that I kind of just listened to the whole album, a lot of the solo albums are usually these like very deeply personal songs that are very, a lot of it's very straightforward. I think this was more heady. Like there's a lot, like the songs feel a lot deeper, and it's not necessarily like it doesn't feel like all the songs are about you and your personal life. Like there's a lot of other
They're all
things
about
going
Jimmy.
on.
Yes. Jimmy is the bird on the cover.
So,
or at least a representation of it.
so where did some of these songs come from then?
I think mostly as a writer, I always like the idea of creating characters and situations that aren't necessarily have to do anything with me, and in crafting words that sound musical to go along with music. And I just really made a conscious effort to make the record as a whole flow in that kind of artistic way, and to leave it open into interpretation, which those are some of my favorite records. It's just everyone can take something from it. And there's nothing to direct there. But if something strikes a chord in someone, then
They all strike a chord with me.
then my job is done.
That's something interesting though, because I never really asked you anything about the meanings of the songs. I just looked at, no, seriously, because I was just had my ear to them in a technical sense the whole time. I never really said, like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of assumed some of it was autobiographical, but I never really asked you. Is this you or is it a
It's not your
character?
place, Jim.
No, I know it really wasn't. And I was
Know your
more
place,
just-
Reynolds.
Yeah, and
Turn a
another
knob.
thing too.
Turn my knob.
I was going to ask that, Jim, because it's really important to note that, because I think it would affect how you go into and approach the song. I think if you knew, okay, this is what it's about and whatever, maybe you're thinking a little bit more about, okay, how do I make that into a sound?
Right,
You know,
right.
how do I transfer the meaning into a sound? But you weren't really thinking that way, which is interesting.
Yeah, that goes back to my whole approach of mixing and recording, just on a basic level. And it sounds crazy, but I growing up, I could never hear words in music, and I don't know if it's because I don't know how to listen for them, but to me, music is always too loud, and I can't hear what people are saying. So literally, the only way to figure it out is if I get like an isolated track, or if I read along while the song is playing. And I don't know if it's, again, because I feel like I focus so much on the music that I get distracted and I can't focus on the words. I listen more what's going on musically. So when I approach a mix, and even when I write my own songs, I focus all on the music first, and the vocal to me is just a singular, what's that called when it's one note, monophonic or something? It's just a singular instrument, the vocal. It doesn't really matter what it's saying. It's just the melody line and another layer on top of all the other instruments to me.
Yeah, but there's two different schools of thought on that. Like when
Right, but that's-
but like when there's some people who are like totally like lyrics make the song.
The lyrics make the song, but
me personally,
in my
I'm a
mind,
music guy.
I go with and because of that, I've noticed that I have a tendency sometimes to mix my vocals a little bit louder because I can't hear them, even in my own music. Even if I do things to go in and make sure they stand out, it's just like I said. I don't know if it's a psychological thing where the music always just distracts me, but
also, like the songs, the lyrics were already done. Everything was already
Right,
finished. And
right.
And the whole makeup of the song was, I'd say, probably 90% there. We didn't really change the structure.
No, structure was
everything.
pretty much like that's how we would record it. You'd go in with your guitar and a vocal, and we would figure out what's the beats per minute. And this is pretty much the standard procedure for all the songs. And we would figure out the beats per minute. He'd go and record them basically in the same take. So a lot of times we couldn't use either element because the guitar would be pretty much a direct line, and your vocal track would have bleed on it from the guitar.
Right.
That's why those few songs that did make the final album, they had to be perfect in performance-wise because you couldn't go back and tweak anything.
And there were no, there wasn't an ambulance or the air
Right,
conditioner.
it just
didn't
happened at the
kick on.
right time. Yeah.
We're
add
going with
that.
that one because nothing ruined it.
Yeah, let's add that part in there.
No, but that was my approach to it. So that's why we would put that down as a skeleton, and then I don't know, like even though I don't listen to words or not that much, I kind of just can see something in my mind when I'm listening to it, and I just build a song around it or texture. You
Well,
know?
I think working with you with making these songs the way that they are, I think that if you were to ask me about the lyrics when we were recording, I'd be like shit. He wants to like really,
He wants to really think about
he
it.
wants to peel back the layers, but you never did, and we just kind of
It's just more in my mind, like a technical and what did I see, what did you see, and then
yeah,
bouncing ideas off of each other.
you were great to work with.
What was it like?
Working with Jimmy,
Yeah.
it was great. It's great. I mean, we're both so busy, and he's Jimmy. He's just, some things worked, and You know, there was never any frustration. We didn't get frustrated.
Never. You never had to raise your voice at me.
That's how Jimmy Gage is.
Yet.
That's how Jimmy Gage is.
Yet.
No, but
You
I mean,
never
we
yelled
always
at me.
felt satisfied. I always felt satisfied.
Hey, all right.
And if we were stuck on something, I'm not going to say that we couldn't do something because we would always make something work. But if we
Sure.
were at a point where we were stuck, neither one of us was ever afraid to say, let's just think about this for a little while.
We did leave one time. We were talking about this before, there was this humongous thunderstorm.
Oh,
And you could hear it. You can hear it hitting the roof. Like
Was
it
was
was
this
here.
on East Mountain or was this here?
here.
this past summer.
And we actually heard something outside when we were in that room.
Yeah, it was like August or
And
July.
Jimmy freaked out. He was like, we need to shut everything off.
I unplugged my gear from the wall.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't even trust if lightning hits this building and comes to the outlets, I'm screwed here.
So then we went over to Cooper's. Of course, this is the only time we did this. We had
The only time they bonded.
we had literally this is the only
Really
time we
business.
had like a couple beers. I think we had
Yeah.
the habanero.
That was the worst drink anybody ever suggested to me.
It was the
It was a
mango
habanero beer, and I already have indigestion as it is, and it was literally like drinking my own heartburn. It was heartburn before it even entered my own mouth. And Tom was like, "No, this is great." I was like, "Oh, if it's that great, you can have the rest of it too."
Yes.
But I had that other one, that Old Bay beer, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, that
it had
was good.
Old Bay around the rim.
So then we came back here and we we plugged everything back in and we recorded Barbara Allen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing we ever recorded with a couple beers, which was fun because that's an old traditional English tune.
Yeah.
And
The storm had to subsided at that time.
your hard drive got fried that night.
Yeah, it was scary.
So I thought I lost the whole record because we had like 3 beers.
Yeah,
I was like, you got to be kidding
the
me.
gods threw lightning bolts down at us, and
What happened with the
That's what we
hard
get.
drive?
I mean, the where it goes from the USB cord into the hard drive itself, it gets loose sometimes, and if it falls out without you ejecting the hard drive properly, then you have to repair the disk before you can make it found again. But I didn't know that yet, so I was like sweating bullets. No, Tom, it's okay. It's all right. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just a little technical error.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
5
Go get
years.
another
Meanwhile-
habanero.
5 years of your life.
Yeah.
No, so
No, I keep multiple copies, so we'd only be set back about a year or two.
So fast forward a couple of months, and my wife's like, she tells me, she said, someone was talking about you the other day in the new record, and I was like, oh, this is great, like the buzz is out there. She said, yeah, the bartender at Cooper's said that you were recording the new record, and you're the only person who can drink 3 of those really hot beers at Cooper's. And she would tell everyone, they're like, oh, this is terrible. She'd be like, well, Tom Graham drank 3 of those. I was like, thank you. 3.5.
Before he ate wings.
Was that the key to your vocals on this album?
No, we haven't done that since. That was
Yeah, it was.
a rough one.
It was that bad?
We were gonna call it.
It was laughable. It was hilarious.
What, the beer or the storm?
Both.
Yeah. That beer was.
The storm was insane.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna-
beer
we were gonna
was
call it a night.
insane.
Yeah, then we came back here, the storm subsided, and that's why earlier before we started the show, Tom wanted a little bit of an ambiance in there because
Oh, yeah,
that's what he
he's
did. He set the lighting perfect. I had my lighting in here, how I
Is
like.
this for Barbara Allen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we just recorded. I think it was like a take or two at the most.
Do you have like some incense and a back rub too? Like,
Well,
what
if you
was-
listen to that song, there's just a droning one note organ. So this whole I had the headphones on here, the lights are down low, and it's just
Mesmerizing almost.
me and Jimmy.
it's incredibly intimate.
3 habaneros deep.
And an Old Bay.
singing
Yeah.
songs of the olden time. Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you choose that song?
I had heard versions of it by different artists, and it's just something that I really liked the whole story of it, and the lyrics actually changed from version to version too. So I just love that whole imagery of love, and then love not returned, and then it being too late, and then they're both dead.
Just
Tragic.
like Titanic.
Yeah.
Yes, that song is actually about Titanic.
Is it really?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I am gullible.
One thing that I find interesting though, because you would ask me like,
Are you pointing to me?
yeah, you.
Okay, good.
So you'd be like, what's this song or what's that song or what's your favorite song? But when anybody tries to talk to me, but mainly Mark, because he would use titles specifically. I always have a hard time figuring out what he's talking about because the songs I've lived with the songs for about 4 years under working titles, and then when I tweak them to the new titles as we were working toward the end. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm still in my mind they're all still the working titles. So when you mention a song, I don't know what you're talking about for the most part. But
the one that happened with the storm, Jim.
Yeah, that one obviously. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's something another weird thing that like
that one.
I never experienced that ever.
No, because I said to him, I said because when you were ramping up,
people run for miles.
All the stuff, like the promotion stuff and getting ready to do pressings and blah blah blah. Like I would ask him, I'd say, what's your favorite song, and he'd go,
Commonwealth.
I have no idea.
Commonwealth. That's not even on there.
Yeah.
But it's People Run for Miles. So that's, I mean, it's weird. There's like a disconnect, but I like it because I know more about the album than
most people.
Most people will. They don't know what that even means.
He knows more about the record than I do sometimes.
But I have to say, Tom has the most sensitive hearing ever.
Oh, thank you.
Like, there'd be a full track playing, and he'd come back with the notes, and you are the most organized person as well, because he would come back with notes and just say, like, at this
Isn't
minute
that
here.
nice?
Oh, it's great, because it's like, but I remember, like, there was one song in particular, like, there was a piece of a take missing, and it slipped past me for a long time. I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then Tom was like, no, open the project.
Yep.
Okay, go to the vocal track.
It's like,
Oh yeah, there's a little piece of something on. There's a little piece of another wave covering over part of the track that like.
And then he get real quiet and go, oh, okay. So yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm like, no, Jimmy, go back there.
No,
I want you to see what was missing.
Tom is very meticulous and very detailed, and that's one great thing that made it a pleasure to work with you because not only do we like have fun. No, not only did we have fun working on creating sounds together. If there was something that we disagreed on or something was wrong, he knew exactly where it was and why it wasn't working, and then we would go in and fix it. Even if it was recorded 4 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like you got a little slice in the back of your hand. No one else is going to notice, but you're like, wait a minute.
Well, my justification is we've already spent 3 years on it or 4 years. Why not get it right? You know what I mean? We already have so much
already
invested
taken
in
forever.
it. No.
There's already so much vocal track.
There's already so much invested in it. Why would you just cut yourself short on a little click sound that shouldn't be there? That's how I look at it,
Well, I mean, and how many musicians too have that kind of sensitive hearing too? Because I'd imagine, it's not as easy for a lot of bands to come in, and they probably aren't experienced with that sort of thing, and they've never done that before, so they don't know, what sounds good or what doesn't, or they might think something sounds great, and you as an engineer are like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, that kind of thing.
And like I was saying before, when we first started working together, I wasn't really sure what my role was. But I remember you gave me a couple of your prior albums, and when we were talking like technicalities of the albums, I knew I was in with somebody that knew what they were talking about because you were talking about Reason and you were talking about some other programs that you use and different instruments. So I was like, okay, I could be a little technical here at least with you,
So if anyone out there wants a record done and for it to get slowed down a lot and have maybe 6 or 7 years to work on something.
Jimmy's the guy.
Jimmy. Whoa, I'm in there too.
Jimmy and Tom are the guy.
Well, yeah.
Remember,
we'll help you grow as an artist.
We go out by the philosophy, do it right the first time.
Remember,
even if it takes forever.
Yeah.
Remember when, and it was totally a joke. It wasn't a knock at you, but I was talking to Jimmy, and I'm like, "What's going on with Tom Graham's record?" And Jimmy's like, "I don't know. I think we're going to work on it more." He's like, "Which is kind of cool."
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what does he think? He's Brian Wilson making fucking Smile? Like, what's going on here?
We're both guilty, though.
And then, then it dawned on me. It's like, oh, you had some horrible shit happen to you.
Yeah, I think what first broke our momentum was when you injured your Achilles.
Yeah,
and that was a debilitating.
Oh, that was devastating.
Yeah,
I never realized it was.
Oh, Jesus!
I tore my Achilles playing racquetball, and it rolled up behind my knee, and
Lauren,
I had surgery, and Yeah, it was pretty.
That was the most horrified face I've ever seen you make.
It was great.
Taught Tom a lesson. Don't play racquetball.
That's
anymore.
right. Fuck racquetball.
So what they had to.
Oh, there goes your racquetball sponsors, Rich. Sorry.
So you had to.
Fuck racquetball.
Especially the country club ones. What? So wait. So that it you did you hear it snap?
Yes. Have you ever been in a racquetball court?
Yeah, where it's the pow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you snap your Achilles, it kind of sounds like plywood hitting the ground. It's just like but I heard it echo, and I thought that I actually thought that I broke my leg, and I actually thought that my buddy hit me with a racket because I dropped to the ground, and when I felt my foot and it was just swollen and I couldn't walk, and I just said, "Take me to the hospital." And I went to the hospital and they gave me some morphine and they said, "Mr. Graham."
Yeah, but it didn't, because I think I was talking to you about it. You said to me like it initially like it didn't hurt.
Oh, it
Probably in
Like
shock,
like
right?
no, it hurt.
you heard it before you
I
felt
heard it. I dropped. I felt a sting, and then